team, and they've been around the ballpark a little bit, and they're a little bit sort of grown men compared to some of your guys who are still willows. I mean, they're still growing into their bodies. So I wasn't surprised after looking at them that they would have a little bit of an advantage in aggressiveness and physicality. What did surprise me was that you not only hung on the boards with them on Friday night, but actually out-rebounded them.
Yeah, we played in our two. It's interesting. You have 4 games. Usually we play 4 different teams, but we played 4 games, the same team back to back. And Riverside is one of the top, 30 rebounding teams in the country. We out-rebounded them in one of the games. Bakersfield is one of the top 25 and number 1 in offensive rebounding, and we out-rebounded them in one of the games. But the reality is, in the other games, we got significantly beat. The other night we were down on the boards by 19. I think they wear you down. I think the last 10 minutes of game 2 might have been a double-digit rebounding advantage just in a 10-minute stretch. And they're a team that when they get one, they keep coming. They get multiple offensive rebounds on the same possession. And that prevented us from breaking through when we were trying to make a run. We were starting to find some offensive rhythm. We would get a stop, but wouldn't secure the board, and they would get the ball. So, the experience factor is an advantage always, but certainly during this time, with, you could say, some limited practices or not as many games under our belt. But I will say this, we're not going to hang our head and pout about it. We're going to use it as a good experience for us that we can learn and grow from that will make us better down the road.
I thought there was a couple of times when you could see the lack of experience that hurt you. I thought one time against full court pressure, in fact, twice back-to-back, you guys couldn't handle the press. They got a couple of turnovers. It's the kind of thing that if the game had been very close, it could have been disastrous. It wasn't good as it was. What was your thought about that? Because that doesn't happen to your teams very often.
No, I think they pressed for basically 40 minutes, and because we weren't getting stops because of the second chance, we were seeing a lot of it. And so a lot of teams, they set up their press maybe to dead balls, but they were pressing on made baskets, and we were a little bit rushed. And like I said, you can simulate it. I think we've done a good job over the years. Guys started not to get to the right spots. We weren't patient in terms of taking our time bringing it in, and we didn't seal in the right spots because their press was, when we got it in, it was kind of one and done. We can bring it up with several guards. We play a 3-guard lineup with juniors in there. We watched a lot of the film and talked about wanting the ball, wanting to be pressed, getting to the right spots, and then they mixed it up. They started to mix up a man press and a zone press, and the beauty of it is you don't want to break it. You want to attack it and flow into man or zone quickly. So we had spurts of it. We weren't consistent enough with it, and a good, experienced team will exploit you there, and they did.
Wanted to get to, when we talk about the physicality, I thought they did have an advantage, and you managed to fight it off on the first night. Were you worn down a little physically on night 2?
I don't know if we were, because I think you saw we played 10 or 11 guys as well. And, maybe just in the last 10 minutes, I thought one of the things that I was maybe most disappointed in is when we were not making shots, and we had some wide open looks, and we missed free throws. So we didn't convert on opportunities we needed to. I thought it affected our consistency and focus defensively and on the boards. And as we know, that should never happen. We talked about that at length with the group. Because you talk about the physicality and experience, but one of the things Bakersfield does really well too is take you out of your stuff defensively. And we were playing a little bit on our heels in the first night until the second half, and obviously we started out the gate really well in game 2, but the second half was more where we were. We executed offensively. We just didn't put it all together at the same time. This year, even though in a short sample size, we've had good defensive games, good rebounding games, good scoring games, but not at the same time. And you obviously need to be sound in all 3 at the same time against good teams.
One of the things, you have Fullerton coming up. Fullerton is a place, I don't know how much home court advantage you would say there is now. There's a familiar background, but without fans, I think it's minimized. But you've always done well at Fullerton. It's a place that the Hawaii players seem to have a seemingly comfort zone in. What's your thought about this edition of Fullerton basketball?
Well, at first, I think we've done well on the road over the years. We're over 500 on the road. We've traveled well. I think that always puts us in a good position. Fullerton, maybe the matchups, I think they've done really well over the last couple of years. We've performed really well against them. But it's interesting because there are some similarities going in this time around. They have a lot of newcomers. They have some transfers coming in. We have a lot of newcomers and transfers coming in. And both of our programs have had
some of the fewer non-conference games, if any. So I think they're learning about themselves still because of that, and so are we. They're coming off a big win. They really shoot the ball well. Obviously, they've been scoring a big number recently. They got transfers from Nevada, a couple guys back. But the short version is they have a lot of newcomers, and they're starting to play a little bit better, obviously, and you should when you get more. But when you're making 9 threes a game, you're dangerous.
And your team, I mean, I know that you said that. I always worry a little when you come out of the gate and knock down 3 threes, because I've noticed there's a tendency for a team to start to think, wow, we're a 3-point shooting bunch right here. And it's not really where you guys you want to be able to knock down some threes, but you don't hang your hat on it.
No, we play inside out, and we did not obviously do a good job. Now, they were doubling the post and fronting the post, and we got to do a better job getting it inside, whether it's in the post or off penetration. And, we shot 10 for 23 from 3. We do want to be a good shooting team, but we're not a live and die by the 3 team. We are a defensive team, a rebounding team, a take care of the ball team, and we shoot it well. But, there are things we talked about that as well with our team today. We've always been one of the top teams in the country in sharing the ball. We're not sharing the ball to the level we normally do. And some of that's chemistry, some of that's getting comfortable, but I know we need to get back to that
to make the jump we need.
I'm not seeing as much of that sort of precise, quick passing, even across the key. I mean, I think some of your better teams have been fantastic at that. This team is struggling to find that identity.
Yeah, and I think some of it is going to keep improving as these guys get comfortable. I don't think they're a selfish group at all. I think they need to continue to look at their reads and see their options and get more games. Like I keep saying it, I just hope we can keep playing games because that's the most important thing right now. And I think with so many new guys, I think they're improving there. I think they're a coachable group. They're watching it. But our ability to share the ball can wear teams down over the course of a game. We've basically been a top 40 assist percentage team in the country every year. And right now we're really deficient there. At the same time, we don't let other teams share the ball. We're still doing that. But we have to get back to inside out, share the ball, and try to find ways when teams are taking out of our stuff to get it to our guys who are our best scorers.
We didn't see quite as much of Noel Coleman, especially after he had taken what appeared to be an elbow. And I guess his back spasmed a little bit. Where is he? Is he at? Is he able to practice with you right now? And is he going to be okay?
He's good. I mean, the first night he was obviously when he took the hit, he was done for the day, and we were kind of weathering it to see how he'd look the next day. And on game day, he was good to go. So I think, and he practiced today. So it was tough to not have him the other day, but good to see him back on the floor today.
You guys had kind of talked a little bit about the depth that you seemingly have in the backcourt. I'm noticing that a couple of players have some things that they clearly have to work on. In Biwali Bales' case,
you'll love the energy and the passion that kid brings. He sometimes can get a little out of control. He's almost so excited to be where he is that he's almost going too fast for himself.
Yeah, I think that's when you meet him. That's how he is off the court, on the court, every day. I've never seen a guy more consistent. Like he just is, and we love him to death. I think he's also attacks the weight room. He attacks film. He's just he's getting thrown in the fire a little bit. But I love those, as you know, we love those kind of guys because he's not going to back down. It's easier to tone a guy down than to rev him up, for sure. He's very vocal. He's learning. He's making the transition to Division I. I think he's doing a fine job. There's mistakes he's made that are more part of the experience, lack of experience, but will help him long term than intentional. I think he's an attacking guy, and when the game slows down for him, and for all our guys, he'll be that much better. But I love his intensity for sure.
Let me get to this. Another guy who I was very excited to see because his numbers in junior college was sensational, and that's Mcclanahan, who really looks like he's having a little trouble unlocking himself. I don't know if it's fear of making a mistake or having to think about what he's doing rather than just playing at this point because he's so new to it. But I'm just noticing, like, and this is a kid who was a 45% three-point shooter in JC, and he gets what I think are really great looks, and he waits until the pressure gets to him and the shot's gone. Are you encouraging him to be that sort of patient, or is it just a matter of kind of he's got to free himself up?
I know he's a good shooter, and we just have to keep reminding him that. I'm a little surprised he's been hesitant on some, and he had a couple really good looks in the first game against, the other night against Bakersfield, and didn't go down. And maybe he's overthinking. I think he's one of the guys who missed the most practice time, but he is not going to be a good look for him. He should shoot that every time.
And he's encouraged to do that, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, I think maybe he's learning a new system. I don't know if that's slowed him down on when guys are like, he'll get a kick out three, he'll hesitate, and then the guy will come on him and then he'll shoot it. So I think the only thing we would say in that situation is be ready to shoot the first time. If you're going to hesitate, then, move the ball or attack the paint. But guys we put guys in positions to get those kind of looks. We want to knock him down. He's one of our best shooters.
And you can see he's going to be a very good player. It's just, it's taken him a little while. We've seen this before with kids who come in from a JC, and there's a little adjustment period. I think they get here, it's a little faster, players are a little bigger. I just think it makes guys hesitate, but we know this from experience. He'll get over that.
Yeah, no, he's a good kid. He's a determined kid, but we say that over the years, junior college, a new guy, it takes a while, but then you put in the fact that they didn't have, this is unique, the lack of the normal offseason, but then, okay, we're playing some games, and we play two, and then we have 21 days off. Basketball is a game guys play, pick up games all the time.
Every day.
So I wonder if some of that's at play. I know we had, everybody's going through some. Ours has been more unique. We had a non-conference because I wish we could have played it. We played the two games. I wish we could have played our first two games in the league. It is what it is. The guys or the teams that are able to kind of just pivot and handle it the best will end up performing the best. But in the meantime, I'm happy that we were able to get these games under our belt, and you reset at the end of each week and hope you can play the next two.
I'm going to take a break very, very shortly, and I'm going to find out in our as we're solving the technical riddles here. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to either call in or text in, depending on whether you're on the radio or if you are on Facebook Live. So we'll take this time out, be right back, and I will come back and tell you how to get a hold of Eran Ganot. This is called The Coach on ESPN Honolulu.
For a staycation or family coming into town, stay at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger. It's a short stroll to shopping, dining, and Waikiki Beach. It's also the home of Rivals Waikiki. Watch NFL and NBA games safely because they follow all the state and CDC guidelines for safety. So, less people means you get more space and great service. Enjoy the 12 4K big screens, Rivals famous wings, and slice of Waikiki pizza. Rivals Waikiki in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
It seems each day brings more questions than answers, yet our communities are resilient. We pull together to protect our kupuna, care for our keiki, connect with each other, and restore ourselves. Whatever challenges arise, Hawai'i USA Federal Credit Union is with you each step of the way, with tools to bank from the comfort of your home and financial relief for individuals and small businesses. We're committed to helping you care for what matters to you today and every day. Learn more at hawaiiusafcu.com/aid.
Play like a pro with Top Tracer Range, a cutting-edge program that's transforming the everyday driving range experience. This is the same technology used in televised golf tournaments to track the shots of golf's top players. With Top Tracer Range, you can compete against friends, play virtual courses, and get instant shot feedback on interactive screens. It's a whole new way to experience the game you love, and you can only experience at Bayview Golf Course. Visit BayviewHawaii.com today. Come give us your best shot.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. all on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Small business owners don't have the patience for nonsense, especially when it comes to their internet provider. They want the best services for the best price. Simply put, that's Spectrum Business. They give you great value, zero nonsense. Just call 833-919-2121. You'll get fast, reliable internet and phone with no contracts and no hidden fees, all for a price that could cut your bill in half. Spectrum Business. Call today, 833-919-2121.
Call the Coach on ESPN Honolulu.
Welcome back to our first basketball edition of Call the Coach with head coach Eran Ganot. A couple of things, and I'm told you can either call us if you're on the radio or on Facebook Live, text in the comments section, and we'll get to those as soon as we can. I wanted to, and I started to ask Eran during the break, because we know, and you mentioned you're really hopeful each week. You're hoping this week you can play 2 at Fullerton. And next week it'll hopefully be 2 against Irvine at home. Nobody really knows. I don't think the Big West has had a week where all the games have been played. Every single time there have been issues, and some teams haven't been able to play. What is your sense? And I don't know if you're hearing anything from the conference, but is the sort of vibe you get that they will go on as scheduled in the conference tournament, or is that fluid?
When they made the announcement, obviously they adjusted there. Since then, to be honest, we haven't heard anything, or I haven't. So I know usually there's some, you hear the rumors or you hear some buzz talking about potential variations, but to this point, I haven't heard anything. So I know it's kind of a week by week, and we'll probably get updates as we go.
Play it by ear, roll and adapt. That seems to be sort of the mantra right now.
That's, to be honest, that's like, hey, we're ready to play. If we're not, we're pivoting and have a great pass. If we play great, like that's kind of the way we're approaching everything. We just got to stay ready. It was a kind of a kick in the, when we had the break, and then we really thought if there was one game or team that wouldn't cancel was Cal Poly, because they hadn't had interruptions. We had interruptions, and then all of a sudden 2 days before. So really until the tip-off for Riverside, we felt like we could be in some of this. So even though we had a rough weekend, just getting these games under our belt has been exciting. And then I swear it's going to be like that. You play the games, you watch the film, you start the week, and then you go back to your test and hope we can play again.
Well, I think there's something to be said for what these kids are learning in these circumstances, because it's the maximum flexibility is required. You just have to be ready to roll with it, and there's no telling day to day if you're going to be able even to practice, much less play games.
Yeah, I told you we still test 3 times a week. Our guys have to this point done an awesome job, but we know. And I've said it, I'll say it again, but there are no heat checks with COVID. You just have one situation with one of our guys or a support staff member or another team, and you have an interruption. And, there's the officials, there's the other teams that play, and we're in a league in California, which California's been hit pretty hard. So we basically remind them on a daily basis. We've done a great job thus far. We got to continue to do a great job with that.
I wanted to get to some of the other players that people are less familiar with. The guy that maybe has surprised me the most has to be James Jean-Marie. I didn't realize how good he was outside. I expected him to be pretty physical with his size inside, but I had no idea he could shoot it the way he does.
Yeah, I think he's a late bloomer, to be honest. I mean, he was good in junior college. He started at San Diego. He's come over here. He's had 1 year Division I experience. So you see a senior, but he's only had 1 year Division I experience. And we expected him to play a lot of 4 and 5 for us. And then we have the situation with Bernardo. So he ends up playing a lot more 5. But he's a matchup situation at the 5 because he's strong. He's really strong inside, but he's also good on the perimeter. He can shoot. He works on his game a lot. He can take you off the bounce. And now, so he's gone off to a good start, and now he's seen things that are, and this again will help him long term. He's already being double teamed. He may not have seen a lot of that last year. You're simulating it. He's getting that. I think he'll be better for it. But he's certainly at times strong enough he can play both positions and he can play inside and out.
Now, my understanding is the guys who are seniors this year get another year. This year doesn't cost them anything, correct?
Correct.
So, James Jean is a senior, but he, in effect, you could look at him as a junior because he would be able to, if he chooses, to come back next year.
Yeah, and I think, look, I really believe I know our staff is really excited about kind of where he's at, where he's headed, but he is a late bloomer. And he would give him another full year under his belt. He's having breakthrough performances already. He's going to see double teams the rest of the year.
But he's going to get, in better shape. The game will start to slow down for him. And I told you he's a late bloomer. So I expect his future to be pretty bright. And I don't expect this to be a finished product by no means.
At times, and you guys did kind of do it, a 2-for-1 at the University of San Diego, because getting Noel Coleman, I hadn't really, when I was looking over the guys who were coming in, I wasn't thinking of him as a starting point guard. But he's turned into maybe right now your most accomplished point guard, or certainly the guy who seems to have picked it up the quickest.
Yeah, we had a couple double-digit scoring games against San Diego State last year, I think against Colorado. So he has a year under his belt, which right now is gold when you talk about so many new guys. And he's basically, like you're saying, he's basically going to be a sophomore again next year. So I look at where, the way he sees the game. He's been our most consistent player in practices when he finally was able to practice. He just needs a couple breakthroughs in games, and I think his confidence will keep coming. But he's really even keel, as you can tell. You got different combinations, different personalities. But I think, again, he's another guy that when he gets another year under his belt, he continues to get stronger, will continue to improve.
One of the things that surprised me about him the most is his athleticism. When he goes to the rack and he explodes, he really gets it up in the air.
Yeah, he did test to have close to a 40-inch vertical. He's long. He's got to continue to get stronger. But, there are times where, like our guys, and I know our staff will say, what are you holding back? We know you're vertical. We tested it. Go up and flush it. So yeah. I just think, he's improved as a shooter. He can get into ball screens and look off rollers. And I just think, again, every guy who just gets more reps and has a couple breakthroughs will get better, because I do see the potential there for sure.
Okay, let me get to the one other guy that I really found intriguing, because I've been around this game a long time. I have never seen ever a transfer come in and be named a captain. It's so unusual. But I think now that I've talked to Kasdan Jardine a few times, I'm finding it less surprising all the time. He's one of those guys, it feels like he's been here for a couple of years already.
Yeah, we're tired of him already. You know what? He's that's who, like I said that about Bawali, he's very consistent that way too. That is his personality. The combination of having newcomers, but it also is a credit to him. He's not a captain just because we have a lot of newcomers. He's a captain because of that, and because he's got good leadership, good maturity. He's got experience under his belt. He's got several years of Division I experience. He's been a double-digit scorer. He's shot 40% from three. He's and he carries himself like a professional. And so we've needed that, especially with what's going on. And then he's performed on the court too. And now he's seeing guys, try to take him out of his game. When you're shooting 60% from the three, people aren't going to let you shoot it. So he's got to continue to become a complete player. I said this about him. You take it for granted because he's a captain right now. But this is a new system for him too. And he's starting to get more comfortable, and now he's just starting to see different coverages. So he's been great to work with and much needed.
I have a texter here. Jim from Manoa texts, Coach, what is the possibility of simplifying the offensive sets, as it appears the team is struggling on offense? Good luck this week.
Yeah, we talked about our execution. I think, we've certainly tried different guys and played 10 or 11 guys, and I think that's part of it and something we want to do early because we're still trying to figure out our team. But we've taken out some stuff because I think it's better. We've always had good stuff, and teams try to pressure us to get us out of having to guard our stuff. So there's a combination of one, doing what we do better, and two, simplifying for sure, so they can play off their instincts. And you're starting to see some of that. You saw that at Riverside. You saw that in the second halves. But there's going to be a balance, because we will obviously continue to add some wrinkles depending on how different teams play us. As you saw with Riverside, when we have James at the 5 and they're so big, we played through that a little bit to get them open shots. So I think it's a great question, because at the end of the day, especially during this year, we need to make sure we're not costing possessions with uncertainty.
Here's another one. This is a Facebook comment from John. What's it like playing with no fans? Do you think it gives the home team an advantage?
No fans giving the home team an advantage?
That's the question.
Okay. Well, I think I'll first answer, what's it like playing with no fans? Well, I think it's unique. It's something we obviously have to get used to. And I thought it wouldn't affect us very much, because we're the team that is pretty much the poster boy for having to calm our bench down. We're over talkative. We support each other. So we figured that energy would come from within. But when you go into the gym, and I know you've been there, home or on the road, it's definitely different. We talked already about the fact that our guys are used to playing games all the time. And that's different when we haven't been able to play even pickup games. This is early in the off seasons. And then we've never had this situation. The only other situation it's kind of like is scrimmages, closed door scrimmages. But it challenges your group. And I think we are not as vocal or talkative to the extent of our past groups, maybe because some of that is being new. And I think it's something we challenge ourselves to be better at. In terms of helping I don't know if it felt much different home or away, other than one's team, other than there's no travel.
Right. And it's funny, because I would have said that I thought it was an interesting question, because I would have said, does it give the road team an advantage because there's no home crowd? That's how I would have said if anybody was to have an advantage. But I'm kind of thinking it is. And I think you called it. It's like a closed door scrimmage. I think everybody, and I think maybe the reason guys don't talk as much is because everybody can hear them. It's not like, it's like you've lost your sense of, for lack of a better word, privacy. And I think for coaches too, you're aware every instruction you let out is being heard not only by your players, your opponents, and the other staff.
Yeah, you almost tell them at this point, I don't care if they hear our plays, but I want to make sure we're executing our plays. And I know everybody's kind of both sides of it, trying to hide their calls and their verbals. But at this point, who cares? Like, they're going to hear everything. And so it's all about execution right now. But, I feel it, the difference. But to be honest, someone asked me before going on the road, I would rather, and I would hope our players would rather the place be hostile on the road and packed for us at home. I'd take that any day over kind of just, what we got going on right now. And certainly
silence. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel for our guys because we have such great fans here and such a great home court and such great atmosphere, as good as it gets. And we're missing that. And some of the new guys have never seen that. So, but there's nothing you can do. It is what it is. At the end of the day, we have to maximize and make sure we don't need that extra motivation at times that a crowd can give you. We have to have it from within.
Eran, I hope this is a good reason for make sure they all stay around for next year, because then they'll find out what it's really like to play Rainbow Warrior basketball, the complete package. We have got to take a quick timeout. Whether you're listening on radio or on Facebook Live, you can get in touch with us by calling or, in the latter case, by texting. This is Call the Coach on ESPN Honolulu.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Brother, what you doing now?
I'm doing my own PV system, and I get homey fall-proof gear.
Brother, ano bubble wrap and duct tape going work?
Yeah, I get them. Check this out.
Okay. Brother, you okay?
I think that heat expanding stuff is true. Getting small and hot in here.
Oh, no.
It's raining over here. How we pop all the stuff? Oh, careful.
Make sure to have an electrical contractor and licensed electrician do your photovoltaic installations and electrical work.
IBEW Local 1186, lighting your path to the future.
When you feel like Vegas, there's just one place to stay. Grab a drink at the Holo Holo Bar, there's just one place to play. We got a fresh, hot look, a new sports book. We got those local meals, just like Auntie cooks. Aloha spoken here.
Complete 4 and 5 night packages starting from $699. Vacations away, our favorite connection to Vegas.
Chuck E. Cheese is back, ready to make more magic and pizza. Enjoy great family fun in a safe and friendly environment, fully compliant with all COVID-19 guidelines. Our birthday package for a family of 5 include a large 1-topping pizza, 5 large drinks, 100 tokens for the family, and another 100 tokens for your birthday star, all for just $69.99. Our Kapolei location is open daily from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and our Pearl City location is open from 11 to 7, Wednesday through Sunday.
In times of fear, World Vision is there for the most vulnerable. For the last 70 years, we've been standing with kids and families through natural disasters, war, and disease, delivering life-saving aid and helping rebuild lives. And with every act of courage, faith, and love, we do more than just stop the spread of fear. We replace it with hope. Learn more at worldvision.org.
Fox Tonight.
911, what's your emergency?
It's Mondays to the rescue with 911.
The dam! It's coming down!
Holy mother of God. And 911 Lone Star.
The swimming pool's on fire!
Lava? 2 epic hours that can only be described as
apocalyptic.
It's the season premieres.
We have one last shot to turn the tide.
Of 911 and 911 Lone Star.
How you feel?
I need a lot of Jesus and a little bit of Jack.
Fox Tonight.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be a stressful process, not when you have a seasoned realtor like Sean Sonoda helping you every step of the way. Born and raised in Hawaii and an avid UH fan, Sean understands the values of aloha, ohana, and loyalty. As a certified luxury home marketing specialist, he'll work tirelessly to earn your trust and help you find or sell your piece of paradise. Contact Sean Sonoda today and mention this ad for a free promo at 551-1274 for help on all your real estate needs. Go Bows!
Call the Coach on ESPN Honolulu.
Welcome back. Oh, I got an echo there. Welcome back. Are we good? Okay, we are good. We are back talking to Eran Ganot. This is Call the Coach, and it's our first basketball edition. Eran, you'll be going back on the road. I don't know what the level of trepidation is for you guys when you head on the road, because there's a tough deal every time. And I know you'll go, and I think you'll leave Wednesday, and you'll get, I'm assuming probably Thursday morning, you'll test. While you're waiting for the result, maybe you can just block it out. But I'm like, would be hanging, and I was at football. I'm hanging on the edge of the seat to see, did everybody pass the test? Is there some of that going on with you guys?
You know, it feels like it's been going on for a while, from the daily testing, then to the 3 times a week to play games. Then we're on the road. Obviously, like I said, because of the concerns with California, we're very thorough and organized on our travel. You've been with us, and even more so now with the concerns with California. But it's kind of a bulletproof plan. But, you know, it's like a little thing with our guys. We get hopefully we continue to test well. You get on the road Thursday morning, we'll test again, and then we'll all kind of celebrate, and then we go, how did they do? How did their test go? Okay, I think we're going to play. So, I think there's a little bit more routine to it after you do it for so many months. But this is our second trip, and the first trip there was a little bit of that, and until like we got to the first practice, and then you felt like, I think we're going to play this game. Because remember, prior to the first trip, we had our only games all canceled, non-conference canceled, first league games canceled. But I feel good about the way our guys have approached it. And like I said, we got to keep going.
Well, one of the things that was unfortunate, leave it to a broadcaster to think in these terms. Cal Poly, that series gets canceled, and frankly, they're struggling. I mean, that's one you really wanted to play in terms of league standings and all that. But I think in this time, especially with the makeup of your team, you can't worry about, okay, how good is the opponent? Where would they fit into the? I think you just got to get better. This is your mantra: get a little better every darn day. And if you do that, the other stuff will take care of itself. Do I kind of have that capsulated for you by you?
100%. Our goal has been kind of be the most improved team in the league and use these experience. Like, we didn't have non-conference. Some of our teams in our league did. And so we're going through some trials, that we would have gone through earlier, but it hurts in the moment. But we get back to work and we have here's one thing. Yes, experience is good, and getting exposed in some areas is good early. You certainly don't want to get exposed there late. But the whole wish we had this or that, I'm just grateful, and we got to continue to send a message for what we do have. Let's continue to be diligent, continue to watch film. We're learning about our team, and be prepared for anything, but don't complain about anything, if that makes sense.
Got a text here. Person is known as Go Bows on Facebook. I think that's what he's saying. The message is, or his comment is asking a question, really. Why isn't Cam Ing being given a chance to play?
I think everybody gets a chance, and you've seen that over the years. So obviously early, at least in the Division I games, we have a logjam at the guards. I've said before that I think we have good players playing behind some good players. It's not Cam can play, and so can Zor, and so can Beion. And Beion obviously got a crack the other day. So, in the meantime, we're trying to have a consistent rotation, and guys need to continue to stay ready because it could be their moment. But I do feel like Cam is improved, and I love coaching him. I love working with him. I think he's going to continue to get better, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets in the mix.
Great kid, and he works at it. And really, from a coaching standpoint, what more can you ask? A guy comes, he doesn't complain, and he goes to work every day.
Well, I just want to add, though, he's a good player too. Great kid, and he's a good player, and he's better than he was a year ago. He's stronger than he was a year ago. He does things. Where does he fit in complementing the rest of our guys? Does he make us better? Yes. Does he make us better in every day? Yes. Is he improved in ball screens? Yes. So I don't want to say I'm have a lot of positive thoughts about Cam.
Okay, let me get to this. We got another one coming up. This is Alan from Pearl City. His question is, aloha, coach, is Bernardo back to 100%?
Aloha, and unfortunately, no. And I think we're being, obviously, as you know, over the years, we'll be very careful about moving along with him and seeing where it goes. But we've had a very limited Bernardo for some time, and that's unfortunate because, you talk about our backcourt depth, but we thought we'd have some frontcourt depth with Samuta in there and Bernardo in there, and you bring in James and Kaz and Hensley coming back and Bernardo and Mate, and so a lot of that took a hit. That's probably the area we took the biggest hit, just with things a little bit outside of our control. But I said we're not going to complain about anything, and guys are going to get thrown in the fire, and hopefully Bernardo can get closer down the road. I don't know what to expect of him in the short term, and we'll talk more about that. But it's certainly affected us in some ways, but it is what it is. Bernardo was one of our few experienced guys who started for us. So I do know that Bernardo has a chance to be a really good player. We've always felt that way. And right now it's tough that he's going through what he's going through.
I wanted to also get to that. I got another. Let me do this first because this is Kevin from Kali. He's taking the time to write in here. Have you ever thought of having one of the guards I think he says taking out the ball. I think he means inbounding the ball when you're getting pressed. Also, what about a zone defense against a team like Bakersfield?
Well, good questions. I think we do have several presses, one of which, and you saw when Junior was bringing the ball in, but we probably needed to do that more the way the situation played itself out. And we need to be good at every kind of press. So they do a good job, obviously, mixed in their presses, and they caught us off guard. So we'll work, and I think we'll be better for it. In terms of the zone, we've worked on zone. We've obviously implemented some zone over the years. This one of the big drawbacks of zone is the offensive rebounding. And I think that was our biggest concern in terms of why we didn't employ it in the first game. And because they do attack that as well as anybody, and they've crushed zones for that very reason. I know we talk about blocking out in zones, but it's harder to block out in a zone. So
hard to find your guy.
Yeah. So the second game, I feel like, and in a way, we were playing a different kind of zone. But if you saw, our man had some zone principles because of the way we were guarding some of their non-shooters. And I thought we were in the ballpark rebounding with them in game 2 until the last 10, 11 minutes where we got absolutely annihilated. So unfortunately, when you go in and you come out, this is the nature of the game. You leave with regret and wish you should have tried some different things. And that's part of the nature of the profession we're in.
There's only really, I was going to say one kid on that team that I would hesitate to try. I mean, I'd almost want to have some variety of a box and one on that Edler Davis kid, number 10, because that kid can shoot it. He's really the only kid on that team that I thought, this kid's a danger from, say, the 3 line.
Yeah, and then 13 for them. I mean, those are the ones we were targeting and trying to kind of clog it up a little bit with the other guys. So it almost at times looked like a man with somewhat zone principles on personnel. But then we didn't guard the guys who were supposed to take off the 3 well. And especially when we were making a little run late, and especially late in the game the other night, the first game, we let Edler Davis get loose, and he hurt us. And those were just blatant lapses, and that's unfortunate. But again, one will have to learn from the hard way.
You know, here's what I try to encourage people when I'm talking to them. I'm saying with so many new guys and limited practice time, very few games, this is a learning curve for this group. And that's going to be the case for a while. But I think the best days for this team will be the ones later in the season. I think that I've been around long enough to know the drill here and how it works. And these guys, if they continue to come and work every day, they will get better.
Yeah, and it will test your resolve, it'll test your maturity. I fully believe, and like I said, always, it's the experience, good and bad, will help you if you approach it the right way. If we don't, we won't get better. If we're sitting there feeling sorry for ourselves and disappointed and all that, I want them to be disappointed. We don't ever want to be okay with the result the last couple of nights, but I want them to use that energy and motivation to simply get better and hope. And basically not hope, but just basically say it ain't going to happen again. We're going to make different mistakes next time, and that growth will help us.
Until you get to the point where you're not making many mistakes, and that will be the evolution. We got to take a quick timeout. This is going so fast. I think we have 12 minutes left in the hour. Stay with us. This is Call the Coach with head coach Eran Ganot on ESPN Honolulu.
For a staycation or family coming into town, stay at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger. It's a short stroll to shopping, dining, and Waikiki Beach. It's also the home of Rivals Waikiki. Watch NFL and NBA games safely because they follow all the state and CDC guidelines for safety. So, less people means you get more space and great service. Enjoy the 12 4K big screens, Rivals famous wings, and slice of Waikiki pizza. Rivals Waikiki in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Hardware Hawaii. Customer first in Kailua.
Hi, this is Eddie. I'm the lead lumber for Hardware Hawaii in Kailua. I like helping customers find what they need. It's not like another stranger just shopping here. My customers are like my friends, and then I just help them out, and I feel good. And it just makes my day. We're out here in the lumberyard ready to serve you.
Hardware Hawaii. Customer first in Kailua.
So you're driving down H1 trying to get to work, and then boom, flat tire in the middle of rush hour. Don't be that guy. That guy with flabby, balding tires. Be that guy with pumped, ready-to-go tires. A 1-minute inspection once a month routine will keep you pumped and ready to go. Lex Brody's is your personal trainer for your car. We have free air stations, and our team is always ready to assist. And when you need new tires, visit LexBrodys.com to use our tire shopping app to save money and time. Be that guy who's pumped and saves money. And I'll be that guy who says, thank you very much.
Lex Brody's Tire Company would like to say thank you very much for supporting UH. Wear your favorite UH gear into Lex Brody's and get an extra 5% off tires, brakes, and most other services on top of LexBrodys.com's Super Saver coupons. You're the best fans, and Lex Brody's voted #1 in North America is the best choice for brake repairs and to purchase tires. Please visit LexBrodys.com for additional details and to set an online appointment. Lex Brody's
Tire Company.
Aloha, my name is Gino Sequena, Executive Director of the Hawaii Building and Construction Trades Council, an organization that has served Hawaii for over 6 decades. We are one big ohana of the top 15 construction trade unions in Hawaii, and it's highly likely that you, your friends, or family members are employed by one of our trades. No matter where you go in Hawaii, you're bound to see one of the projects or communities we have helped build and sustain. Mahalo to all of you for your support to help us in working together to build a better tomorrow.
It seems each day brings more questions than answers, yet our communities are resilient. We pull together to protect our kupuna, care for our keiki, connect with each other, and restore ourselves. Whatever challenges arise, Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union is with you each step of the way, with tools to bank from the comfort of your home and financial relief for individuals and small businesses. We're committed to helping you care for what matters to you today and every day. Learn more at hawaiiusafcu.com/aid.
Call the Coach on ESPN Honolulu.
Welcome back to our special edition of Call the Coach with Rainbow Warrior head coach Eran Ganot. We do have the echo here. Want to let you know I got a huge echo, and hopefully we'll get that solved momentarily. Eran, this trip to Fullerton, it's always a place that I look forward to going to because, number one, the team has great success there. Number two, it's right on the edge of the Fullerton campus. It's very convenient. You can, if you miss the bus, you can walk to practice. I rarely miss the bus, but sometimes, during the day, I walk that campus. It's nice. It's it's not a great gym, but it's a great college atmosphere. And I'm going to miss being with you guys on this trip.
Yeah, it feels like we've been there more than because they've hosted, tournaments and we played in the Anaheim or the Wooden Invitational. We've been there more than any other place. We played more games there than only Stan Sheriff Center we played. That's the Stan Sheriff and their place are the two most opportunities we've had to play a game. So, but we do have new guys getting used to that trip. And I do know the trips we've had have been very clean and efficient. And this one will be even shorter in terms of some of the drives.
Right. And I do think that this is a place the kids will they'll adjust to it pretty quickly. The hotel people are friendly. It's very easy to do the things you need to do when you're there. In fact, there's even another school right diagonally across the street where we've practiced sometimes, Hope University. So it's been really, it's been a great venue for Hawaii. I also, I always enjoy seeing Dedrick Taylor. He's one of I think the good guys in the league.
Sure.
I wanted to run this by you and see if you kind of agree with this. It seems to me that this has been even tougher on the coaching staffs that I consider grinders. And just in my mind, the grinders in the league, I would say, are you guys, UC Irvine. There's certain staffs that just they're grinders. And there's others, and I would cite Long Beach State as what I would call a little loosey-goosey. They throw the balls out and up and down they go. I just think this is harder on the grinders because it's so much more reliant. Those coaching staffs are more reliant on the practice and the repetition and the precision and doing things exactly the same way until you have them down. With the other guys, it's a little more street. And I think that's a little easier in this environment. Do you think there might be something to that?
Well, I think we and earlier we had a great question on one of the calls, about simplifying. And to be honest, I know we've had some issues at times with executing offense, but we've actually been simpler than we've been. I think we're more challenging to guard because of the combination of things, if we're able to do that. But when you had so many newcomers and you have the limited time we've had, we made a decision to be a little simpler. But even that's created some issues. So, I don't want to read into the lines too much. I think grinders are grinders. That's what they do. I think you gain confidence from it, and we have a work mentality. I just think I think you don't want to read too much into a result either way. I do know at the end of the day, it's been interesting because the Thursday game in the past, and then you get ready for a Saturday game, you have to catch up. We have an advanced scout, but these two games, there's one film you're watching that night. We usually, as you know, we could play a game and watch 3 to 5 films within the next 24 hours to get ready you are watching and overanalyzing one film, just the game you just played. It's the same team. And I thought we've been ready to go both games. We just had those lulls that we got to clean up.
Have you strategized at what you do, because it's the game in the game with no day in between? Do you kind of say, let's pick out one or two things just to keep it from being an overload? I mean, I'm wondering how you strategize it as you get the team ready.
Absolutely. I think you've been with us for game day, kind of the walkthrough, but you don't have to walk through the same stuff. You just kind of have to kind of review, like our film edit is much shorter the next day. It's about firing fresh for the game, simple adjustments. They may have thrown some different things at us. So we're pretty, it's basically the walkthrough in the film, but at like a third of that level. And basically we tell them, and you've been with us when we've been tournament play, it's basically, you guys go to bed, we grind, we'll get you ready. And so we will still stay up late and all that. But the message is even more, it's thorough going up to the game, the first game. It's thorough, but even more simpler for the second one.
Eran, believe it or not, we are flat out of time. Thank you so much for coming down to join us in this. Hopefully we'll get a chance to do it again, a precursor to when we can all be back at Ruby Tuesday and meeting with friends. Hopefully that'll be sooner than later. Great luck in Fullerton.
Thank you, Bobby. Enjoyed as always, and there will be that day soon.
For Eran Ganot, from all of us at ESPN Honolulu, I'm Bobby Curran. Aloha.
This has been Call the Coach on ESPN Honolulu. Brought to you by HGEA, IBEW Local 1186, by the Hawaii Building and Construction Trades Council, and Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union.